What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to this channel. And in today's video, we are actually going to be working on this Echo Hedge Trimmer. It's an HC150. And we're going to be changing some of these hard fuel lines out because it's leaking a little bit because the fuel lines are getting cracked. And we're going to be cleaning this carburetor. Now this is a very simple repair. Probably the easiest thing you'll do. Very simple. First things first, we're going to get a pair of pliers. Right there. Just a pair of needle noses. Now, we're using the needle noses because now we're going to remove the fuel line. Oh, look, see, that just broke right off. And see how hard that is? This should be pretty flexible, but instead it's stuck in one place. That's even with using non-ethanol fuel. So, over time, fuel lines do go bad. Okay, so now that we got one more. This is the air line. This should have no gas coming to it. So that just tucks up in there. That's flexible. That's fine. That's just a vent line. Now from there, all we got to do is grab our Phillips screwdriver of your choice. Mine being on an impact. And it's 2 Phillips in the back, which is going to remove the gas tank. Or the fuel tank, however you guys want to call it. Pretty simple procedure. There we go. Fuel tank is off. Now we are going to give this thing a clean. And we're going to remove this just like this for now. We're just going to snip this. We're going to keep this. This doesn't need to be changed. But yeah. So we got that off, and now we can focus on getting this carburetor off, which again, most 2-strokes you're going to work on are normally a T25, but this thing is all Phillips. So again, I bust out the impact, just unscrew it. Air filter gasket comes off. Perfect, we put that aside. Now from here, all we have to do is move this forward and turn. You can use your pliers here. Turn this throttle. It's on there pretty good. And we'll use something a little flatter. Now from there, you pinch that, pull it up, and just like that, that's removed. So we will clean this up a little bit. As you see all this dirt and debris up here, as you see, my fingers are already nasty. But look at this carburetor. It needs to be taken apart, and it's all Phillips, 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 Phillips. So we're going to take this all apart now and give it a clean. Perfect, here we are. I got a nice clean rag so we can separate everything as it comes off. And if you guys need any of these parts for this machine, I'll have links in the description. So if you don't want to clean the carburetor, I'll just put a link in the description for a brand new carburetor. If you just want to do the fuel lines, I'll put a link in the description for just the fuel lines. So always check the description, because you never know what's in there. Now, just real quick, while the carburetor was on there, I'm going to check which one was the outflow and which one was the inflow. It doesn't seem to be actuating too much. That's fine. Now, this primer bulb looks blue from the oil, so I'll probably just replace that since I got a bunch of them. See the nastiness there. Now, in order to get this off, we need to do the 2 screws we have access to, which is right there. And then now you just move this over, hold it with your thumb while you get in there and unscrew that 3rd one. From there, you could just notice the orientation and just pull this up. Just like that. We can put that aside. Remember, it goes in like this. You're looking at the carburetor. This spout is on the left side. So this is going to be on the left side. Honestly, I don't think you can mess this up. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, so you can't mess it up working with this carburetor. There's one more Phillips here. Actually, there's a few more Phillips, but this one right here. To take this off. There is a gasket on there, a diaphragm. So we'll go to that in a second. Now the last two Phillips. Unless you're going to remove the needle and the spring and the metering lever, these will be the last two, which I will not be removing the lever, but there would be one more Phillips right there if you wanted to. Now we have the body of the carburetor. We're just going to remove this fuel pump diaphragm. Put that aside. Get all of our parts that are going to go in the cleaner. You can wash all the screws too if you wanted to, but I think that's unnecessary. And we'll just throw those in the ultrasonic cleaner. Which, if you guys need to, I have plenty of videos on not... Oh, look at this thing. This is one of the bad things about this one. It's white, so my fingers are all dirty. So this thing is getting absolutely filthy. I have plenty of videos on ultrasonic cleaners that you guys are free to check out if you're interested. This one is kind of a cheaper one that was given to me. But I figured it'd be fun to use because it's perfect for, you know, this little carburetor. And then we could just throw all the pieces up in there. And I have to run this thing like 900 times. But yeah, we'll come back when that's all said and done with a new primer bulb as well. Okay, perfect. Got the carburetor all blown out and cleaned. And now from here, we can put it back together. So like I said, most of the time, you can't mess these up. Like this one, you can't mess up. This is going to go on top right here like this. We'll put the screws in here in a second. For now, we are going to put back on the fuel pumper, which it all has little grooves to line up. I don't think you'll mess it up. But just, if you have to, go back, watch the video, or when you're doing it, take pictures or put stuff in different places. Now I did get another primer bulb here to replace this one, just because that one was a little blue from the gas. So we'll just replace it. It's the smart thing to do. We'll put these 4 Phillips in. And you want to be very careful not to strip out the aluminum when putting these back in. Most people will get mad that I'm using an impact, but those people probably don't even do small engine repair. Perfect. That's working pretty good. Now that we got this top on, we'll go to our 3 screws here. Like I said, the same way we took it off, we'll put it on. We'll put 1 screw in here, 1 screw in there, and zip it in, zip it in. Now from here, we're gonna put that one in. And then after this, we're gonna get to that gas tank. So, oh, I missed a part. I forgot to pull a part out of the cleaner. Let me wipe this off real quick. Don't need to blow this part out, there's no, but do need to give it a good cleaning. Perfect. And now as you see, like I said, there's little grooves so you don't mess anything up. And if you separated all your screws like I did in the video, you would have perfect amount. And just like that, that carburetor is done and ready to go. So we'll put that with the brand new primer bulb. Look at that clean. We'll put that aside and come to the gas tank. As you see off camera, while that was in the ultrasonic cleaner, I cleaned this up so it's not sticky and nasty and gross while we work with this. Now you can change out this grommet here, but this grommet is actually pretty good and I don't need to do that. So we'll start by actually just putting back in the vent tube, which was fine. Is that the vent tube? No, that was not the vent tube. This is the vent tube. Put that back in, which was 100% fine, good to go. And now I'll show you guys how to do fuel line. So we're gonna get to that right now. Actually, we're gonna bring back the white mat here. And I do have a bunch of fuel line and a new fuel filter, which link in the description for all this stuff if you need it. Now we're gonna figure out which fuel line diameter we're gonna need. That one's a little too big. That one's too small. I want one slightly bigger than the hole so it has a seal. Now that one looks good. But let me try this one. Actually, I'm thinking this is the one we're gonna use here. So, I guess it doesn't really matter in the end which one of these you want to use as your return. I'd put the return on top and the sucking on the bottom. That's what I'm gonna do. So we'll start by making a return line. And I like to go a little bit longer than you should need. Mainly because you can always cut it shorter if you need it. So this might be a little too short. I don't think so. Here's the old return line that we peeled off. So as you see, it's a little longer. So I don't think that'll be a problem. Now a trick to these, as you see all the stock ones, how they're cut like that, that's how we're gonna cut it. We'll take a knife, we'll go at a steep angle and give that a needle or like a slant. And we'll shove that in the hole. Yeah, that's making a tight fit. Now, to be honest, from here, you need a pair of really long needle nose pliers to reach in there and grab it. But we'll put this in a little bit. Actually, you know what? I put the return on the bottom. Wasn't paying attention. So we're just going to leave that on the bottom. Now, from here, this is going to be the suck up. Now, I'm not going to cut this at all yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that angle cut in it. I need a sharper knife. And I'm going to slide it in the hole. And I'm going to get this in there pretty good. And I'm going to show you guys what I do next. So when doing the fuel line, yeah, that's going to be in there pretty good. Now, if you had a nice pair of long pliers, it'd make it a lot easier. I don't have any on me at the moment. They're at the house. But now, as I see, I only need to push it in just a little more. I can reach in there with my regular needle nose. And give that a pull, and it makes it a lot easier. So now I'll pull that out a little bit. Now, instead of leaving that at an angle, I'm going to snip it flush. I'm going to put a brand new fuel filter on there, all the way to the back. Pull it out a little bit more, shove her back in there. Now from here, what I do is I'll shake it down and I'll look in there and I'll make sure that that's laying flat. Pull it out a little more. I don't want too much fuel line in there. That's fine. Let's see what we're looking at. Yep, that's on there. That's pretty good. Now what I'll do now is I'll match it up here. If I need to, I can always push it in more or pull it out more. So that's not a big deal. And now that that is good to go, I might just add this stuff. No, we'll leave that alone. Now from here, we're gonna pull back out the machine and put the fuel tank back on and the carburetor, put some fuel in there and fire her up. So let's put this all back together. Let's get the machine up here first. There we go. As you see, I cleaned it up a little bit so it's not as nasty and dirty now. Now from here, we can make sure, I wanna make sure that our carburetor is gonna be on the right way. or how this was. So it's like that. Perfect. So now the fuel tank can go on like that. We'll put the fuel tank on first. Just because it's the easier process, we'll shove that right back in there. And now from here, we'll just take our 2 Phillips, hand start them. Perfect. Now we'll 100% confirm again what's blowout, what's suck in. So that's suck in, that's blowout. Yeah, blowout, which is gonna be, like I said, the bottom one. So this will go onto the, let me double check now. Yep, blowout. You always wanna make sure you get those right, otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. And suck up right here. Perfect. So that's working like it should. Now see how we're bending a little bit? What we're gonna do is push these in. Just like so. Confirm it again, make sure there's no kinks. Doesn't seem to be kinking at all. Now we'll grab our air filter cover. And we've made no change to that at all. And from there, we're gonna just zip this on. And now take our throttle cable, link it behind the fuel line, like so, push it down, come around here. Now you could have done this while it was off, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter how you do this. As long as you get it done. Throttle cable is back in. We'll make sure it's working. It's working as intended. Now, to be honest, I think it's all said and done. We can put the air filter cover back on, which we didn't clean, which I forgot to clean. Which is fine, not a big deal. Make sure I got that on, okay. And now I say we put some gas in it and try to start it. Okay, let's start this thing. Hell yeah, she runs. Fucking A. That's good, that's all we wanted. So, as always, if you made it this far, you gotta hit that subscribe button because it's awesome, it's right there. Also, videos over here, check them out, have a good day.